Today our programming objective will be what? Looking at that functional programming, okay? That functional programming, and then we'll be looking at passing function as a parameter and then returning a function from another function, and this is called a higher order what? Function. Higher order what? Function, okay? Or functional programming. Okay, so let's actually look at some simple example in order to know how to actually implement higher order functions or functional programming in that. Okay, so uh, let's say we have an example with a function. Okay, so let's first have a function with a parameter. Okay, so function with parameter. Okay, good. So let's create that function. So let's say we have a function, mm, a function called, so let me start with the void. So let's say parameter function. Okay, let me just name this. So let me just keep it para what? Para function. Okay, so it means parameter function. Okay, so para function, and then we're gonna have two parameters for this function. Okay, so one will be a string and one will be a function. So parameter receiving a function. So string. So let's say string, and here will be string a message. We'll be receiving just a message here, and that is a string, and we'll be receiving another parameter as a function. Okay, so passing a function as a parameter. Okay, so we say this is what? mm, Func, that is function. Okay, so let's say function, and then here will be what? Let me say parameter function. So I call it a parafunc. Okay, then in here we'll just print the message. Yeah, print the message string that we'll be receiving very soon. So we print the message, and then okay, this does not need to be in parameter because it's actually receiving the message from elsewhere. And then we're gonna have you let's have this now, and then let's have another example, another function, and this function will return, oh no, let's just call this function, this is what? A function. Just a function, and then let's say do function. Okay, so that is just the function name. Okay, and then we have the parameter. Exactly. Okay, so in this function we actually will be returning a function here. So this will be a returning function. Okay, a function that will return a value. So returning what? Function. Exactly. Function. Good. So returning function, let's look here. We have let's say we're gonna multiply some numbers. Okay, so we're gonna use the fat arrow inside or the lambda in here. So we have a function, then we say multiply. Multiply, that is the name of the function, and then it's assigned to mm, it's assigned to an int. Don't forget, this is a lambda function in a function. Okay, so just like using a fat arrow, so the function is receiving one parameter, and I'm using the fat arrow. Okay, fat arrow, and then what is it gonna do? If you receive the number is gonna multiply it's gonna multiply by 4. Okay, so I just end this, and this will be returning. Yeah, no, sorry, return multiply this. Okay, and then I end the statement. Okay, so here, let's watch here. This this function will actually be having a two value that will be returning into the main. So let me say this function. Okay, this one, we're gonna have another function, another declaration in the main, which will make use of this function. Okay, so so I have this, and then let's say we are passing in two values here like this, and in the main we have to first have the passing function here, the passing function here. And so for example here, let me comment this. We'll say passing a function, passing passing a what, a function. Okay, so passing a function to another what, another function, or higher order function. Okay, so here we're gonna have a function here in the main function, and that function, let's say it's what, addition. The function name is what, addition, and it's equal to what, taking two parameters, that is number one plus what, two. Okay, so let's watch here. So this is number, okay, number one and number two. And what are we going to do here? So we have one adding to another one, and this should be actually be let's have this one should be a print. So we're gonna print this, and these are the parameters which it will be receiving. I'm coming. So here we're gonna have two parameters that is the same as the addition, just like this. Okay, then it goes this way, and this will be using the fat arrow like this. Okay, perfect. So this is actually a function, but this is a lambda function, or using the fat arrow. Okay, so this is the function name, and then we have two parameters the function is waiting to receive, num1, num2, and then the function actually prints out the sum of the two parameters. Okay, so um, so here inside this function, which I have to call here, this function, I have to call this here, and then this one will actually have a string. So let's say hi string, a string here, one will be a string, and the another will be what, will be the function call. So this addition will be here. Perfect, perfect. So the addition will be here. Okay, why are we passing in this? Because the parameterized function, or the para function, has two parameters. One is a string, and this string correlates with this. Hi will be here, and this is a function, and this function, since here is actually a parameter, we are passing in this function name inside here, so that it will be stored in this what, parameter. Good. And when is stored here, this function actually agreed to accept two numbers, and these two numbers is already assigned to the para function here. So this para function is here. So we have 6 and 8, which so 6 will be here, 8 will be here. Then the print will add the 6 here and the 8 here, and then it will return what? The value. Okay, then the next one is the function, do function. Okay, do function. We also have to also call the do function here. So this is actually what? Receiving function. Yes, receiving function. Okay, good. So for receiving function, what we'll do is simply call the function name. So this function is called what? Do function, just like this. We call this here, and then we terminate. But here, since we want to pass value, into this what? This parameter. We need to assign this to a variable, mm, let's call this just a variable. So we say maybe my do what function. It's just a variable. Okay, my do function, and my do function will hold a value for the parameter. So this value will be printed out. Okay, so it's simply what? Print, oh no, yeah, print like this. And this print should actually have a value, and here we'll hold the value. So let's say we have 16 here. Perfect. So we said this what? Receiving function, we call this, no, we call do function, which is this one here. And the do function have been assigned to a variable called my do function, which is returning a variable. And in that, the print statement actually returns the value that is kept in this here. Okay, and then that value will be passed what? Will be passed here, and that value will be multiplied by 4. Then return what? The multiply function to the console screen. Okay, so I run this, then we'll see what is wrong. Line number 1, number 2, compile fail. What is wrong with that? Okay, let me see. Oh, here is function, not function. Okay, I got it right. Function is equal to number 1, number 2. That is number 1 and number 2, and then we have 1 plus 2. Okay, so let me run this. This should work perfectly. Exactly. So we got it. We got the high, that is the message parse here. We got the 14, and where is the 14? The 14 is here. Okay, so it receives here and then pass it to this function, and this function pass it to here, this 1 2, and then it multiplies, you get the 14. Then the returning one, the 64, is here. So this do function have this value being passed in by its variable, by it my do function variable, and then that one is being passed here in the integer. and the number, the integer, which is 16 times 4, and then return what it multiplied, and that will be 64. Okay, so without much doing, we'll be closing, or I'll be finishing this video, and then this is actually very simple for functional programming or higher level what functional functions in that. So we recommend you to watch. If you don't understand, you watch it over and over again for you to get the whole concept. If you have not watched the Lambda video, recommend you to check the previous video to check the Lambda. It also gives you a very proper idea of what happened here. So peace. I'm out.